Rightio, we are live tonight. Welcome to On Loose Lines. I'm Paul Campbell. No Daniel Hibberd tonight. I'm joined by Michael Stanley for the start of the show. Mick, thanks very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Paulie.
Threw me under the bus a little bit. I wasn't real sure about teams and everything else like that. I'll get better at it, but it's not what I normally deal with, but it'll be fine, mate. Different world. You do lots of social media now, especially through the computer and these Zoom meetings hookups.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like I said, I could have sat somewhere and held onto my phone, but we've all got used to, the Google Meets and the Teams, and especially with the homeschooling, not that I've had to do any homeschooling, mind you. Jen's taken care of all that. I've been really lucky, but definitely tech-wise, we've all got a lot better, that's for sure.
Yeah, we definitely have. It's a good way of being able to promote businesses. One thing I like about yourself and Jen, you're very big on promoting. I've always said it when we've had a stable chat and the like, you're big on clothing, and I know you've got your badge on your jacket there tonight as well. You're very big on branding, but this is a good way of being able to get out to a bigger audience what HRV do and other people have been able to do to showcase the talent that harness racing have.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last 5 years, especially, the social media world is obviously taken off, and harness racing Victoria and harness racing participants have really, grasped it. You see Matty Crave and Andy Garth. I mean, you could name them all. I think most of the professional stables and even a few of the hobbyists have all got their own social media pages trying to promote themselves. So it's definitely a good way of doing it, because everyone out there can do it. I think that's the key to it.
Yeah, and I know you have private Facebook pages for a lot of your owners and things like that. There's a lot of simple ways you can do it that take a bit of the burden off you as a training, let you concentrate on your training.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. There is simple ways, like as you said, on Facebook you can you can create a group. Like there's a lot of groups on Facebook. You can make it private. So Drain the Swamp, just for example, all his owners, which a lot of people in the social media world will know a lot of his owners, Paul Dobson and Pogger and Sooty and the likes. We've got a group there, and we can all just communicate in the one group together. It's really simple and makes it a lot easier than trying to call around each individual owner.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got one very special guest that's locked in to be watching, mate, Mavis Stanley. Last I checked, she was in Northern Territory. Is she still up there?
No, she's home now. So, Mum ducked off up there to Darwin with Alicia and her kids for a little getaway, and they had a bit of luck because lockdown hit while they're up there, and their stay got extended for a week. So, I know that they've done a lot of sitting by the pool, drinking wine. So she'll be back to reality down there feeding the lambs, no doubt.
And it won't be very warm where she's sitting. That is for sure. But she's very passionate on Facebook, Mum. She does a good job, actually.
Yeah, she does. She features quite heavy on Facebook. She does a good job. She doesn't miss a thing on there, that's for sure.
No, absolutely. As I said, Daniel Hibberd's normally with me on the show tonight. He's actually calling Bendigo Greyhounds. There is also Bendigo Trots on. I've got too many monitors. I haven't got enough to have the Trots vision up. So make sure you're tuning into the Trots vision. We've got a horse going out who's going to need a lot of luck. He's just driving out just now. That's why it reminded me. Mickey, I want to talk about a couple of things. One, Bendigo last week. Well done to you for starters for getting a double, but I mean to start off the 1st of September when you become an ambassador for prostate cancer, I think that was huge. So congratulations for that. But it must have gave you a good little kick along too to be able to do something like that achieve something, I suppose, in the month.
Yeah, exactly. It was a really good start, and when Nikita first called me about wearing the colours and being the ambassador for the month, I said to her, are you sure you've got the right person? Because, I don't feature out there on the racetrack as prevalent as a lot of the other drivers. I don't drive every day and mainly my own and one or two other stables. So, but she said, no, we're really keen for you to really throw the colours on and get behind it. And, I think with the social media, part of it, I thought if I'm not going to be driving every day and driving 30 winners for the month, my part is when I do get a winner to really get behind the Prostate Cancer Foundation and push it out there, because we want to raise as much money as we can for them, but the key aspect is raising that awareness. So guys like you and I, Paulie, who are hitting that middle age and that, to be at the forefront of our mind and be getting checked out and making sure we don't miss a thing.
And a lot of our viewers as well there too, like blokes like Lukey Stapleton and those guys. It's got to start getting into our mind a little bit now. Exactly what you said. We'd like to say we're young, but all of a sudden you start looking at the digits next to your name and they start creeping up a little bit. It's great promotion. If people aren't aware of it, if they're watching this from anywhere else, basically in Victoria, but Johnny Keldo and Mickey, every time they drive a winner, $500 will be donated by HRV to the Prostate Cancer Foundation of Australia. I think harness racing do enormous jobs. Pacing for Pink, Team Teal, prostate cancer, mental health awareness, and all these things. We do a great job. Must be really good though to be named as an ambassador, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I think for harness racing Victoria to think enough of me to say that I would do something for the brand and help them in that space for the month. It was a real honour, and especially at these times, we must send our best wishes to Tony Ziria, who I know who went into surgery last week. So hopefully you're going well, Tone, and everything goes well. And then obviously, hopefully, Shane Gallagher won't mind me mentioning it, because I know he put it out there publicly that he's currently, being diagnosed with prostate cancer as well. So, to be in this space where we have two of our own, going through it at the minute, it's really important that, everyone gets behind not only Prostate Cancer Foundation of Australia, but those two guys in particular.
Absolutely, and there's a GoFundMe page for Tony Zero. There's also one for Taylor Shembry, who's experiencing different difficulties as well. So please go to the GoFundMe pages for both those. You're going good at this, Mickey. You'll end up being part of the show. I think the reality is, though, we also all know a lot of people that have gone through it, and probably people that I know that have had it over the journey. It was different back then. One that it wasn't as public as what it was. It was almost a bit of a shameful thing that you had prostate cancer. Now, to put it out there and tell people that you've got it and make people aware of it, that's a key component of it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the more people that are aware of it, the more people that get regular checkups, and then the hope is that the less people get it, isn't it? You know, that's really the idea of it. I mean, the sporting identities in the past, like the AFL and NRL and these sort of things, they're probably really the ones that led the way in getting it out publicly, didn't they? And as you said, Harness Racing Victoria have been really good in jumping on board with all these charities, cancer charities, and things that we really need to push for people's health. So, so I think that's really the important part, is to get the message out there. Especially when you hit that middle age, it's even if you feel fit and healthy, that yearly regular checkup is really important. Yep,
absolutely, and it is key. And I think one of the great things, a man that I've had a bit to do with in Rob Watson too, put his hand up, same sort of thing. He's at that age that you got to keep on top of it and all the rest. But basically, said he'll match dollar for dollar what HRV put up every time you win on one of his horses. And Soho Dow Jones ran race one on September 1. It was just a perfect fit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great, and that's sort of what Rob's like. He sort of he's a generous man, and that was great. So hopefully we'll have a few more runners for the rest of the month, and we can keep finding the lines, and Rob will keep digging into his pocket and helping out. And that just sort of, I think Josh Jenkins put it out there as well. He backed Soho Dow Jones, so he donated to the foundation also. So, I think those guys are happy to get, not only behind me, but the cause. And, like Josh said on his Twitter account, anyone happens to have a dollar or two on anything I win during the month, please put your hand in your pocket and give a little bit back to the Prostate Cancer Foundation.
Absolutely, and it's easy to do, but yeah, it's just keep barracking for these blue colours for Johnny Caldo and Mickey Stanley. Soho Dow Jones, nice win the overnight. I would imagine he's got bigger fish to fry. You've had a few nice horses recently. Where does he stack up for you and your team, mate?
He's a really good horse. I've got a lot of time for him. Probably had him. Well, he was a lot underdone at Terang because we have the Vic Bred Platinum coming up in about 3 weeks. So his whole preparation's been building to that, and then obviously we have the Breeders' Crown and Size leading after that. So he was really underdone, and he got caught outside the leader, and he just blew up a little bit in the last 200. So he trained on really well, and he still probably needs another 3 weeks, and I'll probably give him a trial before that Vic Bred Platinum, and he'll come on really well. So I think he's got a really good future. Reminds me a lot of Soho Bollinger. He's going to be a cracking 3-year-old. Big, strong horse, got a good turn of foot, but sort of learnt my lesson from Bollinger last year. I probably over-raced him, so we're looking after this fella a little bit more to hopefully do some damage in the back end of the year.
But Bollinger, you'd still be happy with how he's going this year. He probably just got on a mark a little bit quick, which has been a bit hard for some of these 3-year-olds. You couldn't be upset with the way...
Super happy with the way the year's gone with him, Paul. I more just meant last year through the middle when we didn't have any features, I kept him racing, and when we got to the Vic Bred, he was just tired. I didn't plan his preparation out that well. He was tired when it counted. So this year with Dow Jones, we've kept him away from the races, and hopefully have him peaking at the back end instead of being tired like Soho Bollinger was.
Yeah, but he has done a very good job. I want to talk about another horse, but just quickly, Drain the Swamp. You said about the social media side of things. Dennis Bice actually bred him Yorkshire Park Standardbreds. He's a good mate of mine. And he said basically just not quite up to the real elite, but he's just going to be a lovely horse going through the grades, and people are going to have a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, 100%. He probably is just a touch below. But I think he'd be one of those horses in 2 years' time. He's going to be a regular metropolitan performer. I think he's going to do a super job. Didn't pay a lot of money for him. We only paid $20,000 for him. So I think he's already up to over 50, maybe 60,000 in his short career. And I knew the breed really well. I know he's got a little soft spot there in Paul Dobson's heart because the breed is actually one of Alan Tubbs' breed. So, and knowing that breed, he'll get better and better as the years go on. So, yeah, he's a little bit below the better ones, but lovely horse to have in the stable and to own, and will be a really good metropolitan performer in the years to come.
Peter Doyle, mate, he's a regular contributor, but I encourage anyone that's watching to fire the questions in. He's written here, great driver, always back Mick Stanley with confidence, and the thumbs up. But then he came in with another one, which I think is more more to the point for harness racing. Great having harness racing during these hard and different times. Thanks to all the participants. So I think it's good feedback for us participants when you get things like that. Pete contributes quite a lot, but yourself must be proud of that someone takes the time to write a letter when you're having a conversation, mate. I think it's very, very good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks very much for the support, Pete, and keep putting a few dollars on. Hopefully, I'll keep getting a winner for you. But yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if we look back through the past 18 months, 2 years of what we thought COVID was going to be at the outcome, I know you and I sat down and we all had this grim sort of outcome of what it was going to be. If we look back on how harness racing and racing codes and sporting codes have actually been able to continue to compete and work, we're just so lucky. You see the heartbreak of business owners and that around local towns and that just falling over because they haven't been able to earn an income, and we're still able to get on the road and somewhat live our normal life compared to what other people have been. we really need to think ourselves very lucky.
Oh, I think we definitely do. I remember actually that podcast I did with you. It was one of the earlier ones I actually did. You were on the road. You were actually putting horses in the paddock because you weren't sure what was going on. So you decided you'll put most of them out in the paddock, and because the racing was going to close. Thankfully, it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and at that time, the regional racing model that we had didn't suit my stable anyhow. So it probably, it was always going to be the way at the start because there was so much uncertainty. But now I think that, we've all, well, not we, but the government and Harness Racing Victoria have got a handle on how to handle things if something that does come up. We've got a lot of confidence that the racing will continue to go forward. Feature races will go on. We see the last month with things in Melton haven't been going well there, and we've had to race away. But it's kept the metropolitan racing going. We've got a Group 1 that's moved to Bendigo, which is fantastic. So we haven't had to go into that model. I don't think we will have to again, touch wood. And everyone can sort of keep their horses in and keep their training focused on what they've planned to as normal.
It does indeed. There is a tricky side to it, and that's one of the other reasons I want to get you on is because of Barroom Banter last night. He went 154.2, but around Leeton. And again, this happened to you last year as well. You weren't able to get up to Sydney for Sohail Almazi, and this horse again, wasn't it, in Barroom Banter? You had to send him away. Firstly, congratulations. It was a great win, but it must be hard sending these horses away that you put so much hard work into looking after and seeing them leave, albeit you're giving them to good stables that look after them.
Yeah, true, it is. In saying that, even with the travel and that, I mean, that's changed a lot. Last year, I actually had to give the horses up and go to another trainer, and they both happened to win Group 1s, which you don't, even though it's a lot of financial loss or reward, or if you win them, to say you lose out on a Group 1 winner as a trainer is what we all strive for. Especially a Group 1 double on the night. Even though that you think of them as still your horses, if you're not there actually doing the work or you're with them, you're proud, but it's sort of still not the same. And so at least this year, like Barroom Banner last night, he got on a transport truck on Monday afternoon, got to Blake and Allen's Monday night. He raced last night, and he'll be home tomorrow. So at least New South Wales have come around a little bit and letting us train the horses in our own right this time. And we are allowed to ship them. Yeah, we still have to ship them, but we can ship them up the day before the race and still have the horses as our own.
Well, I didn't actually know that, so I just assumed the horse had been sent to Blake, and you're lucky enough to keep it in your name. But the fact that he's back, he'll be back at your place tomorrow sometime.
Yeah. So the transport, if they could have, he would have been home today, but they done a trip from Melbourne to Wagga today, so it was the other way around. If it fell in, he actually would have been home already today. So it was literally only a nightly stopover in his home, which is why I decided to send him to Leeton, because it's only 6 hours away, which is like ducking up to Mildura, which a lot of us do through the carnival. So for a horse like Barroom Banner, who's already had a trip to Sydney and a trip to Queensland and is a really good traveller, it's like nothing for him. So so we just sent him up, and they were grateful enough to look after him for 2 nights and take him to the races. And Blake done a really good job handling him last night.
It was an awesome win. And I know the opinion you have of the horse, and he's had a couple of little issues, not injuries, but issues going along. But he is a horse that you've got a lot of respect for, haven't you?
Yeah, I think we haven't seen the best of him yet. He got crook his first start and underperformed, and then he did go super at Bendigo with the times he ran, but he's probably a little bit underdone still after that. And then things didn't go right in Queensland, but he had he had a throat operation, a minor throat operation at the end of his 2-year-old year. So probably just taken a few starts in that to train him up and get the idea. But I think going forward, he's probably going to be better suited to some short course racing for the meantime, until he just lacks a little bit of ring craft, if you like, as in racing manners. When he gets stuck behind and that, he can still get a little bit keen. So for a horse that's had a throat operation, and that's in the Queensland Derby, he just didn't see the 2600 out because he over-raced 2 or 3 times during the race. And because he's had that throat operation and over-racing, he couldn't see the trip out. So, being a Breeders' Challenge horse, they race over a mile. We saw last night, just out and running over a mile is going to be his forte. So he'll head up to Menangle, and I'm sure he'll love just running a nice hard mile on Menangle.
How do you go with Menangle? Like, is there any talk that you'll be able to get up there at all, just even for the races? I know they had a scare last week where they actually lost their whole meeting, so I'd imagine initially it'll be no, but around Breeders' Challenge time, is there a chance that you could get there?
The way New South Wales numbers are, I think we're no chance. But look, the reason I sent him to Leeton last night was it was the first heat, and the semi-finals aren't actually till the 23rd of October. So they're quite a long time away, 5 or 6 weeks away. So a lot can change in that time. But if not, we'll train him here. He'll have another run somewhere in between, and we'll ship him up to Luke and Belinda before the semis if things are still the same.
That part must be just the trickiest part, like you say, about knowing where you are. But this New South Wales thing, I was listening to Gareth Hall and I think it was Dan Malecki the other day. They were talking about still racing the Inter-Dominion in New South Wales, and they're more or less saying that it'll just be trained by New South Wales horses. And to me, as a horse person, I can't see that working myself. I don't know. Like, I could imagine Luke and Belinda are going to get inundated with nice horses to want to train, for the Inter-Dominion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the moment New South Wales are in a regional model, aren't they? So,
yeah.
Wherever they're based, people are only allowed to race in their region, the Riverina, Menangle, and then you got the Bathurst. So if things don't change up there, I know that they said the Inter-Dominion will go ahead no matter what. I'm not too sure. It's going to be a lot of interstate horses being sent. Inter-Dominion quality horses being sent if people do have to send them off. I may be wrong. And the first thing is we need the Inter-Dominion. We want the Inter-Dominion. So the first thing we want it to happen. We want things to change, and we want people to be able to go. So, but hopefully there's a way around being able to work out that people can take their horses, whether they have to quarantine, be vaccinated, or when they leave their quarantine, on the way home. But hopefully there's some way that they can let people take their Grand Circuit horses to an Inter-Dominion still.
They done it in Queensland, but I know at the time, especially, and you'd know because you were there trying to get back through, but it wasn't quite as easy. But they did make it work for Queenslanders. They made it so you guys, yourself, Matt Craven, could get back home here with your horses and with your family.
Yeah, well, we were really lucky. So Jen and the kids came with me up there, and we were there for 3 weeks, and we stayed on the Gold Coast. So the whole time we were there, the Gold Coast was a green zone, and where the horses were was a green zone. And the first week we got there, Albion Park was a red zone, but my horses didn't race that week, so we didn't have to go into Brisbane. By the time we raced the week after, Albion Park had actually changed to an orange zone. So we were really lucky. Jen and the kids didn't enter anywhere but a green zone. And when we raced, we basically packed up the car on the Sunday, because you just never know what's going to change, and we drove straight home. So the horses have handled it really well. We drove all through the night, and the kids slept most of the time, and so we just chose to. I think we got home a few days before Maddie and Aaron Dunn because of that fact. But while things were still green back home and where we were, it was just the best time to get out there and make sure we got home safe.
But you still had a good carnival. I was actually doing Trot's Vision, and I was going to ask you about it in a sec. Soho Broadway. I actually the other bloke won. I forgot his name now. Yeah, and he won at Gilman. We're interviewing Zach Phillips, and yeah, I thought you'd actually won the Oaks that night as well. It was almost like the best 5 minutes of your life for a while.
Yeah, Soho Bollinger it was at one, and yeah, well, we just need to get out probably only 1 metre earlier. We ducked back to the inside around the bend, and to be honest, if I went around the outside, I probably wouldn't have got within a nose. So although I say we needed to get a run probably a metre earlier, we were probably lucky we got the run up the inside, so we had to be forced to go wide at that time because we'd done a little bit of work at the start to try and hold up, which we couldn't. We probably wouldn't have got that close. So she's trained on really well since her Queensland trip too. So she's a filly that has really surprised us, which should have been no surprise with her breeding.
Yeah.
We should have known that she was going to get better and better as time went on. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Soho Broadway can do through the back end of the year. More importantly, next year, because she just keeps getting better and better every time we step her out.
And she has. She's progressed, but she keeps stepping up. She's interesting because a lot of people don't like the new handicapping system, and it can make it hard, especially for Bollingers. But the flip side of it is a horse like her, you've been able to manipulate it. You know her strengths and manipulate it to your advantage, basically, and get the good draws.
Yeah, I think, and that's a key. Like if you think you have a horse good enough to win the $20,000 rated races. I think when she won her first 70 to 79 20k race, she was only rated 54, so well out of her depth. But she picked up 6 points. If she had won a 7k race, she picks up 4. So if you think about it, I think it's say close to 13,000 to the winner in a 20k race, and you pick up 6 points. You have to win 3 $7,000 races to get the same prize money, and you gain 4, 8, you gain 12 points. You gain double the points for the same prize money. So if you've got a horse that you think's good enough to win it, you're mad not to have a throw at the stumps and throw them in those higher rated races, because you do less points and you're financially better off if it pays off.
Yeah, and it clearly does for her, and I think she's in a similar. But is she out of her class again Saturday night?
Yeah, she's out of her class again. So obviously she picked up a couple of points in the Queensland Oaks for running second, which she got really good prize money, and she only got a couple of points. And then I think it might be a 67 to 80 rated race this week, and she's still only a 64, 65. So yeah, she can probably go in that 67 to 80 rated race 3 or 4 times and race the same fillies and mares 4 weeks in a row, and potentially for Rob win a couple of them.
Yeah, definitely, and that's good. And Robbie will keep, especially if he does this month, he'll put in the $500 for the prostate cancer. The other little bloke that you've got there returning from, I suppose, a bit of an unsuccessful campaign with Luke and Belinda, is Watch List. He won for you when you sent him up there, but he just probably didn't quite reach the marks you're hoping.
No, he didn't. We sort of moved him up to Queensland thinking that being a Melton performer and winning at Menangle, that he'd do a really good job up there, but things just didn't go right for him. So we brought him home and gave him a rest. And he's a horse that's had a fair bit of his own troubles, through injury, little muscle tears and that along the way. So, so we brought him home and gave him a really good spell. And look, he's going to have it up against him this week. He's drawn outside the back row over a mile against a decent field, and he will need the run. But he's a quality little. Everyone loves him here at the stables. I think all the girls and that work here are putting their hand up to have him when he retires to ride around, because he's a beautiful little horse, and and he's got a really good ownership group who love getting involved in a group text and that when he's racing and that. So they're all in there today, wanting to know whether they can punt him. But I've had to say, just have your couple of dollars each way. It's going to be tough this week, but he's a little horse. He's an opportunist. He's really good when he can lead or sits behind the leader. So he'll win a few more races, but he'll need things to go his way in that metropolitan level.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other 2-year-olds quickly coming through for the stable, mate?
Look, we don't have a lot this year. We've only got the pacing wise, we only have a pacing filly, Hysteria, who won early on the season. She's probably a couple of weeks away off returning the races, but she's probably not Group 1 level. She's going to be behind the better ones, but she will be a handy filly. And then we've got a couple of trotters. So I've got a trotter that we paid quite a bit of money for a couple of years ago. We'll probably step him out at the trials on Sunday and start his education process, and hopefully he can make the grade.
Very well bred trotter, and I know you've had a few little issues. Is he starting to tease you a little bit now?
The last month he hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been fantastic. So he's a really big horse. So he's going to take a little bit of time, and all the owners and that have been really patient, and they've got a few other horses to watch at the moment while they're going around. So I've just got to try and keep him off the Facebook groups and stop asking me how it's going. I had to tell him just to slow up a little bit. We'll get there, but got quite a bit of time for him. I think he's going to be a really good horse, but we'll take our time.
We've got Stephen Hunt. He's been watching us talking for the last bit, Sooty. He hasn't timed anything in, and we haven't got any silly photos, so we're going okay. He'll probably do something, knowing Sooty, but he's one of your loyal owners, mate, so it's really good to see. Anyone sees Mickey Stanley, hopefully you can get back to the races. Things will change hopefully very shortly. Johnny Kelder and Mick Stanley, but if you're sitting at home, make sure you just give them support, even a bit of emotional support while they're driving around. Get the prostate cancer word out there, raise some much needed money, but also just raise awareness. I think people lose a little bit of sight of those things too, Mick. It's not always about the money. It's sometimes just about the awareness and getting that brand out there.
Yeah, exactly right. I know, it's a really big month for the Prostate Cancer Foundation. They've got their long run campaign. I know you're a runner, Paulie. You might have to start your long run. Get that 72 kilometres up this month and get some people. You don't have to dip in your pocket and donate big amounts of money. It can be as small or little as you want, or you can get on that Prostate Cancer Foundation website and join up to the long run campaign and do a little bit that way and raise some awareness that way.
How many days in September?
Well, you've already lost a week. You've only got 3 weeks, but I'm sure you can knock up 72 Ks pretty quick.
Mate, I haven't had a run for about 4 months, so I'm thinking if I say yes to this, I might regret. I'll have a crack. I might sign up and have a crack. I need some motivation. It's only 70-something Ks. If I can't walk in 2 weeks, it's your fault, Mickey, don't you?
Yeah, we know why.
Myself and Mick, we also have daughters similar age, or mine's a little bit older, but we all feel for the COVID and all the rest. It's hard for the kids as well, isn't it? Being able to get not only to school and their mates, but out to horse shows. You and I were looking forward to get to Charlton a few weeks ago, and unfortunately found out neither of us could go because of limitations. But it's hard on the kids, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. Especially I know Holly's a bit older than our girls, but my oldest Gabby, she's in year 6, so she's actually in that transition year, and is missing out on a lot of school, and then has to front up next year and duck off to a bigger school, secondary college. So it's really hard. I mean, and look, we go back to a lot of harness racing people have their own farm, so our kids, have been a lot luckier than a lot of others that live in town. So ours are really, really great work. So they do their school work in the morning, and then they got 40 acres to go out and ride their ponies, ride their bikes, jump on the tramp. They're not stuck inside. So, personally, my 2 girls have actually handled it really well, although they miss their friends. They get on the computer or the iPads and play the games with their friends, so they can try and keep in contact as much as they can. But I think school's not so much what they're missing. It's the friends at school, that's for sure. But they're very lucky that they can get outside and do as much as they can here.
And getting the kids out and competing. And I know on that day at Charlton, Hopi Herbertson actually had a winner too. So we've got to make sure, we've got to get the kids back out there. It's important that we can through COVID. I'm going to let you go, mate. Thank you so much for joining me and having a good chat. It's actually stay in time, I suppose, is the best way to put it. I've basically got the next half of the show, or 3/4 of the show, will be all around the stallion tenders. Soho Tribeca standing at stud. He's on a couple of the stallion tenders. It's great to see him. He's got some files on the ground, but great to see he's getting good numbers of horses going to him as well.
Yeah, he is. And look, he's phenomenally bred, as we all know. A handsome horse, the biggest gentleman you'll ever come across. He's just his nature is unbelievable. Had a great gait, a beautiful horse, and I'm sure he'll do a great job. While we're talking stones, I may as well throw it in with that Rob and I standing Soho Lanakai. Unfortunately, hasn't made it back to the races just yet, so we're going to stand him again this year, and I'm going to do that myself. So obviously, by Some Beach Somewhere, who's a champion sire of size out of a Group 1 winning American Ideal mare. He's exceptionally well bred, a beautiful horse, so we're going to stand him ourselves this year. So if anyone out there, especially the smaller breeder, is keen on breeding, we haven't sort of pushed him out there yet. We've just sort of getting it organised and finalised, but hopefully we can get him a few mares and give him a really good go too.
If people want to get in touch with you about that, just go through mickstanleyharness@gmail.com, one of the ways.
Yeah, exactly. mickstanleyharness@gmail.com, or obviously you can get my contact details pretty easy over Harness Web and the Harness sites these days, or the socials. Obviously, MickStanley80 is the Twitter handle and what have you. But in the coming days, we'll get a Twitter and a Facebook page out there for Soho Lanakai and get him out there. And if any breeders out there are looking to go to a really cheap, well-bred stone who had a stack of talent, he'll be an option.
I'll get in touch with Rob, and I might do an interview with Rob in the next week or so as well, and we'll get it out there for him, because both, like I said, Tribeca's are hitting the ground, and that's important news that Lanakai now will be standing, and his racing career, I gather, is finished for the time, like it's over.
Yeah, I don't know if it's over. He's still only a young horse, so but he just needs if he's going to make it back, he needs a lot of time. So probably put the queue in the rack for a couple of years and just concentrate on we know he was exceptionally well gaited, had speed. He's about 16 hands and he's exceptionally well bred. I think his mother's 100% producer and was a Group 1 winner herself. So why not give him a go? Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Mickey. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm actually going to throw to an interview. I had the gentleman's name up and I lost it there for a minute. Brett Ridley. No, you're good. No, I hit the wrong button. That's okay. I do that. Don't worry. This is meant to be ready to go. It's all good. I do things. If anyone's watching this show and wants very structured and very organised, they're watching the wrong show. You're not getting it. You wouldn't have seen just there before. I think the people at home would have. The cat jumped up in between me two computers. I was like, oh, this is going to end ugly. But then she turned around and took off back, mate. Don't worry. Anything can happen. But Brett Ridley, I encourage everyone to go to the Dubbo harness racing site. I'm actually going to play a video now. They've got a stallion tender and they do it a little bit differently. You can actually see who's bid and what bids are in there. Tribeca, I think, has had 3 bids as well already. So I caught up with Brett just before, just on a video interview, a phone call hookup, but I'll just go through his website. But I encourage people to go to his website and have a look at it. When I come back, Mick, I'm going to have Gerard Moloney on, so we'll talk stallion tenders, what Swan Hill have got coming up. They've got some big meetings coming up. They've got the Trotters Cup coming up on the 30th of September, plus their cup meeting. They've got stakes increases and everything else as well. Mate, thank you so much for joining me. I think you're better than Daniel Hibberd. He's off calling the Greyhounds somewhere. We don't worry too much about him. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll get in touch with Rob, but I might even come out and just get a bit of video footage of Lanakai and we'll give him a promotion up for you too. So thank you very much for joining me, mate. No worries, Paulie. Always a pleasure. Rightio, joined now by Brett Ridley from Dubbo Harness Racing Club. Firstly, mate, welcome to Campbell's Comments.
Thank you. Glad to be on.
It's a breeding season and there's plenty going on in the breeding barn everywhere. People have got stallion tenders going. You guys have a quite a unique one where you actually get to see the last bid and what people are actually bidding, which I find enormous. Obviously, we've just got to go to the Dubbo Harness Racing Club website, which is dubbohrc.com, and then follow the links to the stallion tender. But it's a unique way of having a stallion tender, mate.
Yeah, it's sort of... It makes it very competitive in the end. Like, you know, everyone's trying to save $1 or $2, so they're trying to get it for as least as possible. But yeah, it makes it very competitive.
It does indeed, and it's it's only a very short one, 7 days. Started last Friday, I'm pretty sure. Yep, and finishes this Friday. And the terms and conditions are there. I've got them scrolling across in front of us on the website. That basically started 9 a.m. on the 3rd. And the last registered bid is at $4.59, and then that will shut down. And the starting bid of each horse is $500. The stallions have a reserve, so just because you might have what looks like the winning bid, if you're not past the reserve, you're not actually going to get those horses.
Yep. No, if that's not up to the reserve, we do negotiate then and hopefully get them up to that reserve.
So the winning bid then gets a right to meet the reserve. Generally, as a rule, most stallion tenders, it's between the 60 and 70% is sort of your minimum. So if you're looking at this for the first time and you say, geez, I wouldn't mind getting involved, if you roughly aim around that 60 to 70%, but they're all deals are different with each stud, and that makes it a little bit trickier as well. But that's generally the rule of thumb, isn't it?
That's generally pretty good.
Yeah, so good support from a few studs here too. KTC Bloodstock, I don't know those. The rest I do. Cobbity Farms, Alabar, Woodlands, great supporters of Campbell's Comments. Good Time Lodge, the Slaters, they get behind a lot of these. Calf Macintosh with Lower Long Farms, formerly Northern Rivers Equine, but of course it's changed its name this year. The LS, I'm in trouble because I actually know that one and I can't think of that. The Horseshoe one. Trump Bloodstock, Yuruby Farm, and as I said, KTC Bloodstock, I don't know. Can you help me with the star with the Horseshoe?
Um,
I've thrown you under the bus, haven't I? It's okay. We'll come across it, and I do apologise. I should have looked at it beforehand, but that'll be okay. Jillaby Kung Fu's one of the first ones there. It's great to have a horse like him standing in New South Wales, mate.
Yeah, it's good. As I say, like you like to get your New South Wales stallions. Like, you know, there's not that many studs in New South Wales, so it's good to have another one from Cobbity.
Yep, definitely, and they're doing a great job, Cobby. The McCarthys, very hard people to get on the phone, Belinda or Luke, if you're watching this, but I'm sure they're well and truly aware of it. 2018 Victorian Horse of the Year. He won group races at 2, 3 and 4. One thing that hasn't got there, he contested the Miracle Mile as well. He was a superstar horse, and that was very sad that he didn't get to stand up. Woodland Stud, great sponsors of Campbell's Comments. What the hell, to get a quality trotter like this on your stallion tender, that's a bit of a coup, mate.
Yep. No, it's good. Like Woodlands have been supporting us for a fair while now. So, and like as I say, we've actually got 2 trotters on the book. So yeah, no, it's good. It
is very good, and you can actually see here when I've got down underneath, we've got the comments. So Robert the Drix, 2 days ago, he put in a bid for $3,000. So right at the minute, he's winning that bid. And the likes doesn't mean that's what he's paying for it, but he's actually winning that contract. The Storm Inside, I've got Gerard Moloney coming on a little bit later on on the show. He actually holds a track record at Swan Hill. I was there on the night. He was just a sensational fast horse, this bloke, that's for sure. 150.7.
Yeah, no, and he's very well bred, so he should get good coverage. He
definitely should. Only the one bid there for $1,000. Renaissance Man for Yuruby Farms. He's a horse I don't know too much about, but he's a son of Art Major. He's very, very well bred. $2,200 for him, and he hasn't got a bid at the minute, so we need to get some bids in there for him.
Yeah, he's actually got a very good, like I think he's had like 45 foals to the track and 30 winners.
Wow.
So numbers are pretty good.
That's very good, and standing for $2,200. So that is really good, actually. So yeah, I'll be in trouble for not knowing a lot about him. I did a little thing with Yuruby the other day. They'll give you quicken up. Pet Rock, beautifully bred horse, $3,500 there for Trump Bloodstock. And no bids there. Oh yes, there is one bid of $500, which is a starting bid. So effectively, if no one else bids it, he's able to negotiate and get involved with you guys.
Yep, definitely.
Muscle them up, as it says here, new to Australia, son of Muscle Hill. I did a little chat with Anthony the other day about this horse, and he's a beautiful horse. There's no worries there at all, and he's new to Australia, 2,750, and we've already got the one bid in there as well. So John White's winning that one.
Yep. No, he's come on board for the last couple of years and given us 2 stallions each year. So yeah, no, we've had very good support from him.
Modern Art, obviously the father of Lochinvar Art, plus many others, not just Lochinvar Art. They're there. Young Modern, I had Mick Stanley on earlier. Passion's Promise, Mr. JC, Pole Dancer, heaps of them. 3,300, and he's already attracted quite a bit of attention. And I like this part here. People will be able to see for the first time. You've got your $700 bid, your $1,500 bid, then Matty Taylor's superseded them with the $1,600. So people can actually see where their bids are. They're still there. People can see them. Very, very open and transparent. I really do like this.
Yep. No, as I say, we've been doing it for since 2000. So we've had a lot of success at it and had a lot of enjoyment over the years. And the race has been a very good mares race. So the money all goes straight to the race. So bid up and we can have more prize money.
So it actually we'll get onto that, what it actually goes to. Foreclosure's another horse there, 2,700. He's a lightly raced horse. He's only lightly hasn't got many foals on the ground there. 20 starters, 90%, nearly 91% starters to foals, and then 17 winners as well out of that. 15 in under 155. So he sounds like a very nice horse, that horse.
That's from KTC, so that's Western Australia.
Yep, you've got them from everywhere. Well done, you're going everywhere. Really good. And as I said, the Slaters and Guaranteed, Mark Thompson, trained just up the road, beautifully bred horse, and he's done a good job this year. He's very cheap horse there at only just under $2,000, and there's the one bid in for him at $500. So it's great to have the Slaters on. They get behind all these stallion tenders too, don't they? Very
good. They've been good to us for a lot of years. So.
And it's a pretty interesting one. I've got, as I said, I had Mickey Stanley on earlier on tonight, and we got one of the best horses he's ever put a hand on for Lower Long Farms in Soho, Tribeca, and he's starting to get foals on the ground too, and people are pretty keen on him, so which is really, really good. So another horse standing for $3,000 and attracted a little bit of attention.
Yep. No, he was actually probably the horse that was bid on the most last year, so yeah, we were happy to have him again.
So this closes 1 minute to 5 tomorrow, Friday night. Sorry, two days time. Make sure you get involved. Big thank you to all the studs there on the banners underneath. I really like this idea, Brett. And all the money raised goes to the race series. Is that what you said?
Yep, all the money raised goes straight into the race, and it's been a Group 3 race for a while. The previous year we had it as a Group 2 with some help from Harness Racing New South Wales. But yeah, we've been at a Group 3 for a fair while now. So, and
that race, I'm actually trying to find the name of that race because is that the what is it? The Red Orca Mares Classic? Is that the race?
That's it.
Yep, very good. All right, mate. Well done. Good luck. Make sure people tune in. As I said, just go to the website there, Dubbo, DUBBOHRC.com. Follow it to the links to the stallion tender. Very self-explanatory. Put your bids in, and good luck, and hopefully you can get some jockeys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brett. Right, we are back now. Gerard Moloney joins me. Firstly, welcome, Gerard. Welcome to Campbell's Comments.
Thank you, Paul. Glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Unfortunately, due to a technical issue, you can't actually see me at the minute. I've got to work out why that is, but I am definitely here, and we've got plenty to chat about. I better change me hat from time to time. I get in trouble because I don't change them enough. Sometimes they say I change them too many times, but that is okay. A few things I want to talk to you about. One, I just said to Mick Stanley then about stallion tender time, and heard from Brett there from Dubbo as well, and I think that's a great initiative. Swan Hill have their stallion tender, and it's only just opened, basically today, I suppose, is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, look, stallion tender's on our website at the moment. Our actually opening date is September the 20th, and our finish date is October the 1st, which is a Friday, finishing at 5 p.m. I'm sure anybody who wants to bid prior to that, that'll be fine, but that's our opening and closing dates. we've got a terrific roster of horses this year too.
You have. You've got a big roster of horses too. A little bit. It's interesting the tack that some clubs go through to how they do their stallion tenders. Like Bendigo do one, Horsham do one. You guys have quite a few, but you build up quite a good rapport with a lot of these studs, haven't you?
Oh, look, we've been blessed by the relationship we have with these studs, and they're always very happy to come on board. And like I've got 12 horses for this year's stallion tender. 8 of those are trotters and 4 paces. So we sort of cater for everybody, but we've probably got a little bit of a lean towards trotters this year.
I was about to say that, and you're getting a bit of a lean towards the trotters, aren't you? Every year, I think you're getting a little bit more and more towards the trotters.
Well, we're going to look after them. There's more and more races happening for trotters, so we've got to look after them.
Oh, don't say that to the pacing people. They won't like it one. They won't like it one bit. I'll actually throw the Aldebaran Park hat on because they've really looked after you. They've got 3 stallions there for you. Aldebaran Eagle, Sky Valley, who just keeps getting the job done, and Yield Boko, who I saw a text message or a tweet today saying that he's had 4 winners in the last 4 days, I think it is, something like that. Yield Boko, God of Thunder, Aldebaran JT, I think he had one yesterday or something like that, so he's doing a great job.
Yeah, look, he's doing a terrific job, and his standing fee is only $1,500, so look, you could probably pick him up reasonably at a reasonable price. We find that most of our stallions go for roughly between 70 and 80% of this advertised service fee. So look, it's you can always find a bit of a bargain there somewhere. And talking about Aldebaran Park, I noticed Duncan's on, and I'm not just saying this because he's on and watching, but he's just so easy to get on with, and he's always available to help support local clubs, and he's just a terrific bloke. So yeah, anybody who can look after our stallion tender, please bid on us. But if you can't, Duncan will certainly look after you. Yeah,
definitely. Do you know one of the problems I have when I interview Duncan? Is how long. Like we did a little one the other day for the Nutrien online sale, and I said we've got to keep it short and sweet, and we did. I put the Nutrien hat back on. We spoke for another hour. It was just afterwards. He's such a passionate person, and Pat's the same. Pat Driscoll's the same. I think that's the one thing where the trotters are so blessed here in Australia, or in Victoria especially. The guys behind the scenes are so passionate, aren't they?
Oh, totally. And they're there to support the little clubs and everybody. So it's good to have them on board, that's for sure. It
is indeed. Trump Bloodstock, they've come on board as well with a first season sire, especially with Muscle 'em Up.
Yep, I've been very fortunate with Trump. They've sort of been looking after us for a number of years now, and Anthony Perkins really easy to get on with. So much so that this year our Trotters Cup is actually called Propulsion at Trump Bloodstock Swan Hill Trotters Cup this year, so that's a little bit aside. But so for us to have a $9,500 trotting stallion on our roster for a stallion tender, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the other one, he's got Muscle 'em Up. He's a terrific son of Muscle Hill, standing locally in Victoria, and for $2,750, absolutely terrific value.
Yeah, it is indeed. I've just got to get something done. My daughter's here to help me. They said, "Hey, stress, Jared, plug that camera into the charger." It's the bottom one. No, you've got to be organised with these things, but every now and then you look at something and you're like, "Oh my God, I can't afford to run out of power." It's on the other side on the bottom, though. You got to pull a little thing out. She's doing a good job. She'll work it out. Alabar, as always, really looked after Swan Hill Harness Racing Club. They have for years. They've actually standing the storm inside, who is not one of those horses, but he is the track record holder at Swan Hill.
He is.
And they've done a great job this year. You've got Elite Stride and the first season boy in Ride High.
Isn't he exciting? Like Ride High is just. I think he'll be an absolute terrific stallion. He's Vic Bred Pure, or both of these stallions, Elite Stride and Ride High, both Vic Bred Pure. So they've got a fair bit going for them. Elite Stride have, what breeding is behind him too, like Muscle Hill out of a, imported mare. So absolutely terrific. So very, very fortunate to have Brett Coffey and Alabar support us. And I did notice that Alan Galloway was, online before too. So thank you as well, Alan, if you're on board.
It's actually good that they're all watching. You're able to see it. I think my daughter's just got it. I was about to have to cut you off and tell you where it is, but it's okay. And you've got to take that cat with you, Holly, because she's already been on the show once tonight. She's you do things live so we can get people interacting, and we've got a couple of comments that have come through as well. So that's the whole idea of it. Lower Long Farms, previously Northern Rivers Equine, but Lower Long Farms and Dr. Kath McIntosh, and their support for Swan Hill. She's on the on-course vet, but she's been a loyal supporter for you guys for a long, long time.
Yep. Very, very fortunate. Kath's been a terrific supporter of ours, and Lower Long Farms, it's nice to have them on board now. We've got Pastor Stephen, who's a really high-credentialed trotting stallion. I think he'll hopefully get some decent numbers, but he's on the roster. Poster Boy, we've been fortunate. Bill and Anderson have supported us once again for our stallion tender, and Soho Tribeca, like Rob Watson, he just jumps on board straight away. They're terrific supporters, all of those people. And the two pacing stallions, Poster Boy and Soho Tribeca, are both thick bred pure. So, bid on them with confidence. You'll pick up a bargain, and they're leaving terrific foals from what I can see on the pictures on social media. And
the $12,000 Vic bred pure is a great incentive to breed, isn't it?
Sensational. Yep.
It really is. Well done, Harness Breeders Victoria. I've got to give them guys a wrap as we go. The last of my sponsors, I've got another hat here. I've got to find it. In Woodlands as well. They've well and truly come on board as well, which they have for as long as I've been watching these stallion tenders.
Actually, yeah, Woodlands have been on with us, forever and a day, and Mark Hughes, he's terrific to work with and really gives us a good lot of support.
Don't say that.
No, we've got to give them credit where they're due. So we've got What the Hill and Lather Up with those, and also a little bit later on we've got one of those mares races that Woodlands are sponsoring it with. I think it's the Lather Up.
Yep, sprint series.
Race. So,
yep.
Hats off to them, but we'll be holding one of those heats at some stage in the near future.
And they're all designed around speed. He's equal fast as horses to come to Australian shores, and he's a quality horse. I'm a little bit luckier than most people, Gerard. I've been able to see him in the flesh, and he's a cracking type. He's just I keep saying he's a little power. He's not little, but he's just one of those horses. He just oozes like his little muscle tank, if that makes sense. Yep.
Actually, I went and saw him last year as well, and very impressive looking stallion, and he looked really, really nice to handle as well. So, a horse of that calibre, as you say, with the speed that he's got, I think he should do very, very well in Australia and New Zealand.
And it is key that we get the messaging out there. You and I, we're going to do some different things around the marketing of all these stallions this year. I've got a couple of ideas. I like you ring me and say, can I do something? And then that's sort of what we're doing. So we'll definitely try and do something around it. But you guys are prepared to try different things. I know one year I went up there and we did a live show basically promoting all the stallions as well when we were there.
Exactly, yeah. No, it's like we try to advertise and give our sponsors as much coverage as we can, and everything we do, we might try something a little bit different. Most of the times it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we're out there to help, and if anybody's got any questions on these stallions or how to bid on them or anything, just give me a ring. My phone number's on the website. And I just noticed a couple of the viewers there at the moment. We've got Hurls with Curls, who actually had a winning bid last year, so we'll no doubt have something for her again this year if she's keen to bid. And another lady I haven't met yet, but Doc G, she bought a little mare that I sold recently, Charlotte Galleon, and we keep in touch on social media. So welcome to you, Doc G, and bid with confidence.
Great little segue. You're going good at this actually, because we'll get onto the harness breeders in a second. Hurls with Curls, or Alexander Hurley as she's more commonly known. Swan Hill does a great job with their stallion tender every year. Currently waiting for a foal from a peak service we bought last year. So thank you very much to that, Alex. I'll go through a couple of these other ones. Thank you very much, Peter Doyle. Mick Stanley is always a great chat. He is a good chat. He's a professional. He knows that we've got to promote this industry in the right way, and that's one thing that Mick's all about, isn't it, Gerard?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And Peter Ramiro, do you have a service fee price? I spoke to Mick offline. It's going to be around the $1,500. It won't be any more than $1,500, he tells me. So stay tuned. Next coming days, we'll try and get something up. That's for Soho Lanakai. So standing at stud this year at Mick Stanley's farm. I don't know what he calls it. So that'll be a little bit interesting for him. But Swan Hill, you've got a couple of big meetings coming up, Gerard. Sort of always. Sorry.
Yeah, we have indeed. Yeah.
It's always a little bit of a struggle sometimes to get noms. I don't understand why we don't train the numbers anymore, but I never found the trip to Swan Hill a hard trip. I find it quite an easy trip actually. You get to race on a big, beautiful, spacious track, beautiful food when you get up there. I don't understand why you struggle to get horses up there, but we've got to make sure we get the messaging out there about these quality races you got coming up.
Yep, definitely. And I think the first one I've got to mention is the Northern Region Championship, which heats start at Oyu on the 19th of September. So nominations start on the 14th of September. So I think that's about next Tuesday. So don't forget, this is a $25,000 final for NR 52s to 61. So sort of some of the lower class horses, and it's a good chance to go in, win some heat money on the way through. But you're racing for 25 grand in the final. So first heat's at Oyu on the 19th. Second heat's at Mildura on the 25th, with a final at Swan Hill on the 30th. So looking for good numbers for nominations through the heats and into the final, and we'll welcome anybody to all of those venues. That'd be great.
It's a time-honoured race. It's one of those races that stood the test of time for a long time, hasn't it?
Definitely, and the Northern Region, we like to see some outside horses coming up as well. We're hoping a local one can win it, but if there's somebody got a decent horse in that 52 to 61 range, put it in. Like, you're going to be racing for pretty big money.
A lot of things change in harness racing that you and I could talk a long time. Heats disappearing off, a lot of these quality races that we had. The Central Victorian Championships. They used to have the Tontine. They used to have 2 heats at each track, 2 or 3 heats at each track, and they've stepped away from that now. It's great that the regional hasn't changed. It is still kept the same sort of model as what it's always had.
Yep, we've had some fairly deep discussions with HRV, and we've been able to retain the heats. So we really need some good numbers there to be able to justify it in the future. So please get behind us and give it a go. Racing for $7,000 heats into a $25,000 final.
Yeah, and I can remember contesting it years ago. It's a hard race to win. I know that everyone's there to win it because it's good prize money. And we heard from Mick Stanley, you might as well be racing for the good prize money if you've got a horse that you think's good enough. So that is key. Yeah. On the same night, you've got your Trotters Cup. The propulsion, I think I saw Swan Hill Trotters Cup, and it's had a stake increase.
Yeah, yep. We normally have our Trotters Cup on the same night as our Pacers Cup. This year our Pacers Cup's on the 30th of October. The following day at Maryborough is going to be an all Trotters Day race, so we thought we were going to be sort of pushing uphill to get a decent cup field on that particular date. So in consultation with HRV, we were able to bring it back and race it on the same night that the Northern Region Championships on. So we've got a $25,000 Northern Region Championship, and we've put our Trotters Cup up from $14,500 up to $20,000. So it's a really nice race for some decent class trotters to come up and have a crack at. So encouraging all those with a decent trotter, have a look at the prize money, get up here, and we'll look after you when you get up here.
Yeah, that is huge, and I noticed we've got Noel McNulty. He's there watching, great trotting man as well. So that little carrot dangled in front of him, that'll be a bit appealing, that's for sure.
Good, more the merrier.
Yeah, the boys are going actually pretty good. Chizzy won the other night, the McNulty boys. So they've got him, and they've got I can't think of the other trotter. I'll be in trouble from them in a minute, but that's okay. It's fine. They'll tell me off. How's everything else going up there in Swan Hill for you? Gearing up for your cup, and that changes season, and you've got to look a little bit differently, but it's still in the same time slot for you guys.
Yeah, it's still in the same time slot. We're speaking with Stephen Bell just in the last week or so. He was querying whether we wanted to change our time slot or not, but look, we're one of the unfortunate clubs who missed out on a cup meeting last year, and we've decided we want to stick with the same date and same time. And whether that be with a crowd or not with a crowd, we're just damn keen to have a cup race again up at Swan Hill. So we've stuck with the same time, 30th of October, and looking at good prize money again, $30,000, and hopefully get good fields.
Will it be the first cup for the season?
Usually we used to be, but I think we're usually about the second or third now. Usually, I can't remember. Kilmore used to go about the same time, but I think they've changed a little bit. But I haven't actually checked this year, but we're certainly one of the first 2 or 3 anyway.
Yeah, all right. I noticed Kilmore, they've opened up their doors. I do a little bit of work for Ben and them going forward. They got inundated with people wanting to come and dine, but they can't actually do that. So people just got to be a little bit patient. If you're trying to get in touch with the guys at Kilmore, they can't have any guests in there in the bistro just at the minute, but they're looking forward. Things are gearing up the right way. Thankfully, we've all come out of a bit of a restrictions, or we will have this time tomorrow night. Well, not quite this time, but 11 o'clock tomorrow night, which will make things a little bit more positive, I suppose, for people in the country, because that's one of the key things, isn't it? Oh,
definitely. Look, and as soon as restrictions or COVID rules allow, we'd be really keen to have patrons back on track. So sooner the better, but we've just got to go by the rules.
Yep, I notice Tommy Nisbet, I'm going to try and get him on the phone just in a minute, just for a quick phone chat, but they got Wedderburn on the weekend, but they won't be able to have crowds there at that meeting, unfortunately, so it'll be on Trot's Vision. But and I think, I haven't spoken to anyone at Bendigo, but I would imagine Bendigo will be in the same boat, even though it's got some ripping races Saturday night. There won't be any crowds there, so that'll be a bit of a bugger, but...
Yeah, unfortunate, but certainly with Trot's Vision and some of the vision we can see, I think we get pretty good coverage anyway. So that'll be good.
Yeah, that is half the key. I've got quite a few steam tenders. I'm actually going to throw a banner up over your noggin a couple of times, mate. But I do apologise. But we got the Board Harness Racing Club. Theirs closes on Monday the 13th. Bids are to be lodged by Monday the 13th of September. There to Aldebaran Eagle, Angus Hall, Bacardi Lindy, Cardigan Boko, Down Under Muscles, Peak, Sky Valley and Yield Boko. So again, Aldebaran Park, well done to you guys. Aldebaran Park, Mountain View Stud, Good Time Lodge. They're featured a couple of times here tonight. So well done to all of those guys getting behind that. So be aware that closes Monday the 13th. I might have to catch up with John Campbell very shortly just to give that a little push along. That's only about 5 days away. The Bendigo Stallion tender for Vincent. You said Alan Galloway was on there earlier. They stuck fat with the Vincent tender. I think this is nearly the 4th year they've had a Vincent tender, and it's been very successful. It closes on the 23rd, on the same day actually as Aldebaran Park. Now this is a quirky little one. We talk about stallion tenders and buying yours. You can actually buy a $2,000 service voucher. Now, I reckon you might be able to nearly incorporate that in with some of the prices. It could be an interesting one, but this is, if you want to go to Aldebaran Park, you can buy, I'm pretty sure it's $2,000, bid as close to that as you can. It's valued at $2,000. You just got to put a bid in as close as it is. Anyone with any money, and if you go into an Aldebaran Park horse, you'd put in $1,950, you're already $50 better off. So it's a no-brainer. I think it's a great little, quirky one, if you like, is a better way of putting it. So that's for the Bendigo. Horsham, they have one with Speeding Spur. I've still got all my Woodlands gear on. Look at me go. It closes, I've got the date there, on the 17th, so it's not too far away either. It's next week. It'll close, so make sure you log on to the Horsham Facebook page or their website and follow the links there for the Speeding Spur link going forward. And that is about all I've got. There is one at Terang. I'm trying to find some details out about it. Marg Lee sent me a message the other day if I could promote it. If anyone's watching, I'd love to. I just ran out of time to chase it up, if you like, and just see what's going on. But I believe Terang Harness Racing Club have one. And the VSTA, in conjunction with Harassed Trotters, and I've just got to try and find my horse. It might be this one here, I think. No, it's not that one. Oh, I've got too many little banners sitting here, but Classic Connection, oh, there he is there, is available. There are still tickets available. So they had 100 tickets at $50 a ticket. There's a handful left. When I saw a post earlier on today from Al Morrow, I think it said there was about 25 tickets still available. It'll be drawn on Redwood Day as a raffle. And the beauty of that one is there's a $3,000 kickback to anyone that breeds. So you could win that as a raffle and then you could breed a 2-year-old winner races a 2-year-old, you'll get $3,000 back. And from your point of view, Gerard, you're the breeder, so that makes a big difference too for the actual breeder. It's not the person that owns the horse at the time. This is for the breeder, so it's really, really key, I think, that service fee. So
great from harassed trotters, yeah.
it is indeed, and it's good. I think all these are good. I think we've just got to get the messaging out there for people who are aware that you can, instead of ringing a stud and try and haggle with them, you can haggle with yourself. You can say, rightio, what am I going to put in to try and win a service fee to Elite Stride, Tribeca, muscle them up at that sort of, like, I'm not sure what the minimum one is at Swan Hill, but they all vary, but roughly around that 60 to 70%.
Yep, our minimum is 60%, but as I said, most of the times we get probably 75% or more. So, you can come in on the 60% side, but you may not get it. But, like I say, realistically, most of them go for about 70, 75%.
I know I was on the Bendigo committee. It was the first season that Vincent stood at stud, and they closed his books. So there was 2 clubs who were very, very fortunate. That was an interesting year that year, wasn't it? Because the year Vincent, because people were so keen to get a service fee to him, there was only 2 service fees left. One was at Swan Hill and one was at Bendigo Harness Racing Club. So they were very sought after that year.
Yep. It's interesting. Last year we had one stallion in particular that was very popular, one of the Woodlands ones, and we actually got a bid that was actually more than the asking price for that particular stallion at the time. So we did speak to those people and just say, look, be aware that you could actually get this price at stud. So you can either talk to Mark or we can help you out. So we like to help people out. So if like I say, if you've got any queries, give me a ring. Yep,
definitely, and get in touch with him. Daniel Hibberd's actually watching. Daniel, I might get to you, I might not. I'll just see how I go. Gerard, one thing you're terrific at, I love that you get interactive with Campbell's comments as well, and I think it only helps. .G, you mentioned her name there before, Alex Hurley. People get involved. It makes these shows, makes what I do more fun for me, but I think it also creates, I suppose, a learning curve, because you ask a question or they ask a question. The Harness Breeders Victoria, the Breed to Succeeds, they've been a terrific success, haven't they?
Oh, look, they've been terrific, and you see the number of people on there, and the questions that are being asked is terrific. So, and no question is stupid. So I think if everybody puts a question or a comment on, I think that's fabulous.
Absolutely. Now this Sunday, I have got that one there. Is our last one for this year. There might be a couple of others, we'll just see, but they won't be the official ones. Brett Coffey and Nick Hooper live from 7 o'clock. This one created a lot of a stir last year. It was one they weren't sure how it would go, but basically talking pedigrees and how to cross them. And I believe both of them have got a case study each. But I've got no doubt, Gerard, when yourself or other people start firing the questions in, it could go for a long time. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Both of them are terrifically passionate, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be very lighthearted. I've got no doubt about that.
Yep, it'll be good. I think you need to have the timing bell on.
I am. No, I'm putting a sleeping bag on the floor. Don't worry about that. It is all good. The other one I do want to mention here is also the chance at those. You'll get the chance of winning a service fee to Pastor Stephen. Just basically through a raffle through Lower Long Farms, and they someone's going to be lucky enough to win that service fee. I'm sure you'll be hoping, Gerard, your name gets drawn out. I can officially say I've relinquished my name from the draw, because I don't think it's fair that they actually happen to draw it out. But Nick will draw that out, and they will also be drawing out a free service fee to American Ideal, donated by Woodland Stud as well. So going to be a good night. Good luck to everyone that's a member. It's too late now. You had to be a member before Friday the 6th of September, but terrific prizes. Well done to both farms for getting behind them. Yeah, they really are good. I've actually got a new hat on too. This is a Kentucky Equine hat. They haven't come on as officially as a sponsor, but they are the official sponsors of the Breed to Succeed. So I've got a little bit of a gift packet and that there. So I'm looking forward to highlighting it. And we can't do these things without those sponsors. So not only Woodlands and Lower Long Farms, but Barristock and Kentucky Equine for getting behind it as well. Gerard, thank you very much. I've really appreciated the time to have a quick chat and go from there. Make sure you go to the Swan Hill Harness Race. What is the website? I didn't write it down. I had trouble.
SwanHillTrots.com.au.
That's it, swanhilltrots.com.au. Go there, look at all these stallions on there. We've got Aldebaran Eagle, Sky Valley, Yield Boko, Muscle 'em Up, Soho Tribeca, Elite Stride, Ride High, Poster Boy, Pastor Stephen, Lather Up, What the Hill, and Propulsion, who is sponsoring the Swan Hill Trotters Cup, which will be on the 30th of September. That'll be a $20,000 trot race, up 6,000. So well done to Swan Hill for getting behind that. Plus the Northern Regional Championships, which kick off, the noms close Tuesday, did you say?
Yeah, Tuesday the 14th. Yep.
Yep, so noms will close Tuesday. That's at Oyen. You go to Oyen, you go to Mildura, and then back to Swan Hill for the final. That's going to be a huge meeting, that 30th of September meeting.
Yep, definitely.
I'll be doing a lot more with you going forward. Gerard, thank you very much. And as Gerard said, ring him if you have any queries at all about these service fees, and get behind them that way as well, because I think it's really important, and it's great what you guys are doing.
Thanks very much, Paul.
No, pleasure was all mine, mate. I'll hang up on you now, and we'll go from there. I might just try and see. I don't know what the Daniel is actually up to. I've just got to see if he's available. I'll just ring him in and see what he is doing. He's possibly calling a race, but we don't know. He's actually said, as I said, he's at Bort Bendigo Greyhound Racing Club. There at the minute, calling the trots. But please make sure you get aware of the Harness Breeders. Kicks off at about 7 o'clock Sunday night, and it will be a big one. Make sure you've had your tea, you've got your Wheaties and everything else like that. You can kick back and just relax and enjoy the night. I don't think I'm going to be able to get Daniel. I reckon he might be calling a race going forward, so don't have a lot of other guests to go. Geez, I've gone for a while. I've been on my own and I've spoken for a fair while. There's no worries there at all, but I might quickly just make a phone call. We'll just see if Tom Nisbet answers in. He may answer for me or he may not. We'll just see. Tom.
Hello.
Tom, how are you, mate?
Good.
You I just thought I'd quickly catch up with you as far as I've got something else ringing there now. Oh, you're listening to me. You're listening to me in the background. You can't do that. Everyone will have the feedback. Wedderburn Harness Racing Club. Tom, this Sunday you won't be able to have crowds there, unfortunately, mate.
No crowds, but at least we've got races on and we've got good fields, so yeah.
Yeah, and they are good fields. You're happy with the size of your fields. Calder Pacing Cup Day, isn't it?
Yeah, Calder Pacing Cup Day. It's like the way a few of the noms have been going and fields around the place, we thought we might only get 6 races, but no, we got 8 races and we only got full fields in every race, so no, we're real happy.
And I've deserted you, but luckily enough you got Kirsten Graham, so I think the show just goes up. Kirsten Graham will be joining you for Trots Vision. She'll be doing a bit of pre-race and post-race. I won't throw her under the bus because I don't know exactly what she's doing, but she will be there as an on-air host for Trots Vision.
Yeah, she will. She actually teaches at Wedderburn, so it'll be nothing different for her coming up the road, up the highway, so that'll be good.
She's pretty proud of the Wedderburn heritage. I know she's a Juniton girl. She has been for as long as I've known, but she's pretty proud to call Wedderburn a second home, isn't she?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, she is that.
All right, mate. Thank you very much for joining me. Good luck on the weekend. I'll be watching I'll be actually streaming Healesville Greyhounds, but good luck on the weekend. And your cup meeting. When's your cup meeting at Wedderburn?
January the 30th it'll be, and at the moment we still don't know whether it's going to be at Wedderburn or they're going to start the demolition for our new building there. It might even start before Christmas, so it's just up in the air whether we're going to race at Wedderburn or not.
That's huge. A lot of people may not be aware of it, and I might come up and we'll sit down and have a chat, but you've got a big new sporting precinct going to happen there at the Trotting Club, so it's going to really almost take a Charlton sort of style shape about it.
Yeah, it'll take up the whole hill, the whole grandstand, the judges' box, the whole lot. Every building there at Donaldson Park will get knocked down, and we all go into the one big 80, I think it's about 85 metres long, and yeah, it'll be something really to see on top of the hill.
And am I right, drivers' rooms and the likes will all move up there?
Yeah, hopefully they're all going to be moving up there, yeah.
And that'll be key because if there is one complaint, Wedderburn can get hot. I only live 30 minutes down the road, so it does get hot. We don't bitch about it, but if they come from somewhere else, Tom, they seem to find that a little bit hard, don't they?
Yeah, they do. We've had one of the trainers from over at Kyabra, Mark Watson doesn't like to walk up the hill when he's got to visit the steward's room, or he reckons it's a big walk up the hill in the heat.
Yeah, well, he'll be able to go up there and sit in the air conditioning comfort now, so it won't worry him too much, that's for sure. So, yeah. Tom, thank you very much for joining me. Good luck on the weekend, mate. I wish I could have been there, but you'll have a great day and, unfortunately no crowds, but sit back and watch it all on Trots Vision and get involved with it that way.
All right, thanks for your call, Paul.
No, thank you very much, Tom Nisbet. That was there from Wedderburn Harness Racing Club. They race this weekend, so unfortunately no crowds at all for those. It's going to be a wrap for me show. Can't get hold of Daniel. As I said, he's calling the Bendigo Greyhounds. I haven't had access to the Trots Vision at all. I actually might be able to very quickly just run through who's actually won the last couple at Bendigo. There is a good card of racing at Bendigo. Huge meeting at Bendigo on Saturday night. Group 1 racing there, so don't forget that great meeting there. Jimmy Grant won the first race. Well done, Jimmy Grant, with Yankee Twister and Ronnie Wicks. One of the locals, a good friend of mine, Jimmy Grant, he's a gentleman, known him for a long time. Ray Cross and Anthony Butt combined to win the second, with Jessica's Story, another of the 3-year-old maiden trots. So Alison Elford and Chris Elford with BB Baroque, Craig Knott. There'll be some social media coverage of him carrying on when he wins. That's a good win because there's a couple of nice horses in that race, actually. King's Guard being one of those. Who ran second. Maddie Gaff got a winner. Maddie and Brian Gaff got a winner tonight. She can do it. So there's some really good names winning the races here tonight at Bendigo. Alan McDonough and his son, father and son combination there. Alan and Bailey taking out race 5 with Blitzam. Race 6, Christmas Babe, Jimmy O'Sullivan and Shannon O'Sullivan. It's a ripping night here at Bendigo. Pity I couldn't have had this going on behind. It was just a little bit tricky. So they're up to race 7, the Max Bakery and Cafe race 7 coming up. So still got a few races to go. We have Belittled going around at 4 minutes past 9 in the Yorkshire Park Standardbreds. Dennis Bice, great mate of mine. I'd love to win that race. Hard field. We're rank outsider, tricky draw. Hopefully the little fella can win for the guys and everyone can involved. That's a wrap. Please join me Sunday night from 7 o'clock. I will be on with both Brett Coffey and, I don't know if I've got that, yeah, it is there actually. Brett Coffey and Nick Hooper will be live. You're able to ask your questions, so get involved. Big night. Someone's going to be lucky enough to win a free service to American Ideal V at $12,500. Be aware there are conditions involved with that. And also Pastor Stevens donated by Lower Long Farms as well. Plus, big thank you to Kentucky Equine Research and Barristock for getting behind both of those race series. This is going to be a wrap. I've been on my own until just then. I've had Desiree type 1 in strong coffee pre-show. I'm putting the bed in, Desiree. Don't you worry about that. I'll be kicking back with the headphones. But it is going to be a lot of fun there. Very passionate. And well done to the Harness Breeders Victoria as well. I think what you guys do sets the bar for a lot of other shows. You're prepared to try different, same as Gerard Moloney from Swan Hill. So thank you very much, Mick Stanley. Thank you very much for Gerard Moloney for joining me. I'm going to continue to do this show weekly. People's contribution was muchly appreciated, and anyone else wants to get in there, get their messaging out there from any of those clubs. Don't forget the Stallion Tenders, Tony Zera, Taylor Shambry as well, and join me on Sunday night from 7 o'clock with Nick Hooper and Brett Coffey. Thank you very much for joining on Loose Lines. This is Paul Campbell. I'm signing out.